Hey, welcome to the first episode of the 427 Stingray podcast with Mike and Mike. My co-host is Michael Cole of High Tech Corvettes and truly is a walking encyclopedia about not only Corvettes, but almost anything that has a motor. Welcome, Mike.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I will try my very best to, great standards. I love them. Yeah, a pleasure. This is the first time we're doing this. I'm really excited for those that are watching. Welcome to the madness. This is going to be great to see what this leads to and where this goes. So welcome to everybody who is watching this. Sit back, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show is right. All right, this week, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about two out of the 15 Corvettes that we have at auction at 427Stingray.com. We have a 1973 T-Top 350 Ci V8 4-speed with no reserve. And it took a lot of doing to get a no reserve auction this early in the ball game, but it's our first no reserve, so I'm very excited about that. We also have a 2017 Chevrolet Corvette LT4 6.2 liter 8-speed paddle supercharged. Here's the crazy thing, Mike. They both happen to be yellow, which is the color of the Corvette. When I was a kid, I always wanted. I have no idea why. They still catch my attention. But otherwise, there's really no significance that they both happen to be yellow this week. It's just the no reserve.
And sometimes that's life. It just happens.
So, without further ado, let's take a look at, I think I got like about a 2-minute video of the 1973. So we'll watch that real quick, and then we'll be right back, and we'll kind of get your thoughts and comments on it.
Let's go. I remember C3. That's in my world. And I'm probably going to catch hell for it because I'm 40 years old. I'm not old. Don't lie to yourself. I'm not old. I'm not young. I'm kind of on the split. So like whenever I say this, I either get I split the camps. I'm a C3 fanatic. I just think that has the lines. It was at a time that America was America, and it has those hips. It just, you got to remember, this was coming off the C2, and the C2 laid a really good groundwork. And that was kind of one of those, oh, God, are we going to make this any better? I mean, how? That's like trying to make Anne Hathaway better looking. How? How you better that? Well, even though some of it was taken over from the C2, it's the C3 is still of its own thing. And because it has the high hips, it has that sculpted face. And plus, side pipes. Oh my God. You could give me the lowest and no horsepower having. I think the lowest horsepower one back in the day made, what was it, like 155 horse or 175 horse. Anemic.
175.
175. I mean, you can get a 98 Honda Accord to wax that car. Not it, maybe a V6 one, but like, you know, they had no power. I don't care. Have you looked at the thing? They were gorgeous. And then, oh my God, then we had the 427. We had the big blocks. The Muncie 4-speed, you know, if you want the man shift, you know, that was also the C3 was the first generation when they had the Turbo 350 behind it, because when you had the C2s, you had like power glides. And the power glide actually started in the C1, which was one of the reasons that it was so anemic, because you had a 6-cylinder trying to push 2 speeds. So it was, it left a little bit to be desired in terms of performance, but you got to start somewhere.
That's right.
And here we came with you had the Turbo 350 and the Turbo 400, both great transmissions, by the way. Oh my God! And here we are with the C3. Of course, the C3 was so vastly different from the C2, because the C2 was just one look, and that was the only real, if you want to say change, significant. I wouldn't call it a significant change. You can. But it was in 63 when they split the window. But everything else, you know, if you were just to glance your eyes over one between like a 63 and say a 62, you just, it's going to look the same. But,
right, exactly.
You know, there's very few things that differentiate them. But when you had the C3, you can tell a first generation C3. You can, okay, is the back end slanted like this? Does it have a shark nose front end? Does it have the chrome bumpers? You know, the gills. You can very easily drive, but that's a 71. That's a 73. That's a 6. Ooh, it's a 69. You know, it was blatantly obvious. And then it was, yeah, that's a 76. Yeah, that's an 80s. Oh yeah, yeah. No shade on those, because trust me, I'd be fine having like a pace car. I'd be fine having, if you gave me the most anemic hunk of crap 1980, I'd still drive the living hell out of it, because I just think they're just cool. I mean, now by today's standards, do they break? What's breaking? Do they corner? Foreign concept. Now, could I make one do it? Yes, because it's a super light car. It would haul the mail. Maybe like get a C6 Z06 donor and then just essentially put a C3 body on it.
Exactly.
You don't want none of that. That thing is good. C3 is probably every bit of, I'm ballparking this, 300 to 500 pounds lighter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the wheelbase isn't that much of a difference. That'd be a hauler. But yeah, so like the C3's just, that for me is like, in my opinion, the quintessential Corvette. Not throwing any shade at the C2s, the C1s and whatnot, but when I see a C3, it has that booty that you just want to lock your teeth on, develop lockjaw, and be dragged to death. I mean, oh my God, it's just absolutely stunning. What are your thoughts?
Exactly. So how do you feel about the fact they removed the bumper on the front bumper in 73? I mean, I'm kind of a chrome bumper guy, so 68, 72 with chrome bumpers front and back, I really like that. And I know what they were doing when they removed the front bumper, and I like it. I like it just as well. I think as soon as that back bumper goes away in 74, I tend to keep looking for bumpers. But
I can see where you're going with that, and that's that's almost kind of like blonde, brunette. Okay. I like them all. As I said, like you could give me a big cubic inch 69 would be really nice. But I'd also be ecstatic with no box ticked, rough condition 76. Or an 8. I'd be fine with that. And I think we got to remember the late 60s, chrome was still like it was going the way, it was kind of going the way of the dodo, but it was like, I'm gonna claw until you're gonna have to try and take me out. And here came the 70s. It was like, all right, get ready. Here it comes. Whap, there it goes.
Right.
So I can see why a lot of people watching this would be, well, I'm Team Chrome or I'm Team Not. You know, you're either or. Going back, it's like, well, I'm only Team Blonde. Well, I like blondes, brunettes, and I like redheads. So, I can eat all the different types of steaks. I don't have to just go just for the T-bone or just for the porterhouse. So it's just one of those things. I mean, I've seen some really beautiful late 70s C3s. God almighty. And then also you got to remember, look at the racing heritage of the C3. I've been in some of those, and those are some of the most violent cars on power that I've ever been in. There's no, is no torque curve. There is no curve. It's instant. It's one of those. Most people with newer stuff are used to. There's a power curve. You bought the car. You want the power now. You get the power now, and that's what made. You already had something that didn't weigh anything. So if you just knew throttle modulation, if you knew, here's before the Apex, and you didn't do that. Unless you really know how to drive that car, they were handfuls. But you know, if you, it's a little bit like that bucking Bronco. That's kind of the appeal of cars like that. Is, you know, I'm going to tame that sooner or later. It's going to happen. So,
yeah, exactly.
And some of those are really expensive. I've seen one. It was a forget what year, and it was at Holly Ellis Fest. I think it was 1 or 2 years ago. I think Kyle Loftus at 1320 might have caught it, or one of his cohorts. And I knew what this was because when I saw the red stripe on the tire, I went, oh my God, if this is what I think it is. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a ZL1 car, and he's drag racing it. It's a numbers matching, original paint. I think the car is worth, this is a big spread. If you're poor like us, 1.5 to like 2.75 million.
Right.
And the guy's out there racing it like with impunity. Back to back to back to back to back. And the thing still runs. I think you got to remember, if you're back in the day, if you're running like a 14, that's a street car. That's hauling the mail. This thing ran like, I think, upper 12s. On tires that are like that wide, and they're rock hard. I mean, my granite countertop below me has more traction capabilities than those tires. And it was just crazy what those things were able to do. I mean, I wish we didn't lose cubic inches. I wish we would bring back cubic inches. I mean, imagine what we would do if we look at the LT5 and the I'm sorry, the LT4, the LT5 and the Z06, right? Naturally aspirated makes over 600 horsepower. It's the highest horsepower naturally aspirated V8 they make, and it's itty-bitty in comparison to all the other stuff they had. Now, what if I took this DNA and decided we're going to make a modern rendition of a 454? You know how much power that thing would probably make? NA? Where's your Hellcat at? Gone. Bring on your red eye. Yeah. I don't care. GT500, be gone, peasant. I mean, what could you do with that? That's especially with the technology we have nowadays. I mean, imagine if they did something like variable to valve timing that the Koenigseggs have and something like that. You could literally have 502 inches that could be on the freeway and do 40 miles to the gallon and then go Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde instantaneously by going, all right, this is the party button. So
exactly.
That's, if I owned a Chevrolet, so the people that are watching, if you want to overthrow Chevrolet and put me as the CEO, I'm here. I'm here for the people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the things that I'm sure you're aware of this, but I looked up what kind of the average price of the 73s were going for right now. And right now, at auction, they're averaging $29K. So $29K across the board. But
that's average?
If you end up, Yeah, that's average. It's 29K.
Okay.
And if you have an LS1, that price doubles.
Yeah.
You know, and if there's a 454 in there, I mean it's even higher. And here's something that you probably know this, but you weren't born yet. The OPEC oil embargo, 1973. So all of these cars, it came standard with the 350 CI,
Mm-hmm.
and 175 horsepower, but they offered the 454 for, you won't believe this, $250 more. You can get 450.
Yes. Yeah, I knew it was in the hundreds. That was just.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
insane.
And that's.
So
would you rather have 8 cups or double D's? Oh boy, that's such a hard one. Let me think about that. You serious?
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
so,
if I had the spare, I'd be all about it. Does the 454 handle? That's fine. It's gonna kick your teeth in the straights, absolutely.
Exactly. There were 4,412 purchased in 1973 of the 454. There were 5,710 with the 350, 250 horsepower engine. So most of the people, there were roughly 30,000 sold in 1973, and right at about 10,000 chose the larger horsepower models. And what are sought after today? The larger horsepower models.
Of course.
Because right now, everybody's like, well, I want the big engine. I want this. And it's just kind of funny how everybody, back in 1973, gas rose to 55 cents a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it was like, yeah, exactly. But that basically from 1972 to 74, it quadrupled. So if you can think about that, it probably scared everybody back then. And really, that was the end of all muscle cars, as we know. Everything was getting bigger, everything was getting faster, cars were getting bigger, and then all of a sudden it switched because of the gas. And
I really feel for that generation, because it was almost like it wasn't a dimmer switch. It wasn't just it's incrementally getting higher. It's just wake up one day, slap across the face, bang, there it is. And we're already riding the horsepower and torque wave, and then it just makes 90-degree parallel turn straight down. And you're like, oh, come on.
That's right.
But this is the testament to America. We're like, okay, we'll see how long this lasts. Wait for it, wait for it, couple years, whack, we're right back at it again. I mean,
exactly.
Let's go back in 1973. And if you were to tell, let's say you, back in 1973, hey, guess what? Do you know that the base model that you can go not check any boxes, get the poor man vet, and you could bring me your 454, I'll let you throw an air gap on it. I'll let you throw a Holly on it. I'll let you throw some exhaust on it. I'll let you throw a tire on it. It's not going to matter. The Corvette's the base model's going to whack you something bad, and you're going to look like a fool. Yep. Who would have ever thought we would have been there or be here?
I know.
Yeah. But if for a second, like if you can try and get that scientific mind, and if you try to imagine from here to here, look at the graph. Now, what would that graph look like 10 years from now? Would it be about roughly the same? Would it be kicked up? Because consider, if you look at the rate of where it went, in 1973, if I were to told you can go get a Dodge Challenger and it's going to make over 700 horsepower, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's already a pre-made race car. No, it's a street car. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have a warranty on it. No, it has a warranty on it. But what? You'd look at me like you take me to the loony farm. Well, here we go. We got cars you can go. I mean, look at like the Venom F5. That engine makes over 1,800 horse. Look at or electric. Oh my God, Jesus! Look at the Rimac. It makes over 2,000 horse. The Lotus Avaya, 1,800 horse. And Chevrolet with their C8, they talked about, I don't know if they're still going to do it. It's still kind of one of those, I'm one of those, I need more definitive answers and data. But they showed that a hybrid C8, they showed that one video when it was on the ice, and you saw the front wheel spinning.
Oh, yeah.
I've been saying this for a long time. I've been like, you GTR boys and you 911 boys, you better bide your time, because you better hope and pray to God we don't figure out how to go all-wheel drive, because we are going to take you to the grave bad. Look what happened when the C8 came out.
Exactly.
I mean, all the guys in Lamborghini and Ferrari that would always banter with each other, because we're automotive guys, we banter. Now, when the new Lamborghini comes out, Ferrari guys, oh, yeah, whatever, piece of crap. Lamborghini guys, oh, that new Ferrari, oh, it's a poor man's Lamborghini. Yuck. And here we come up with the C8, we're like, hey guys, we're here at the party, and they're all, shut up, just shut up. The rule's not ours, it's a fraction of the price, and it's 3/4 the car. And it's a fraction of the price. What do you got to say? I'll wait. They shut up. I went up to all of them. I have a lot of friends that work at Ferrari and Lamborghini. And they were, I don't know what you're talking, no comment. Because they knew, like, Christ, now they got a mid-engine car. Okay, doesn't make our power yet. But for the price point, damn it, we're in trouble. And, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are in trouble. For the price that I can go get a McLaren or a Lamborghini, if I put that money inside of a C8, I mean, LMR's got an 8-second C8 now. And that whole thing is going to cost less than a base model Ferrari or Lamborghini, so, suckers, see you later. Yeah, exactly. So I'd love to see where the history goes, and seeing the history of what we had, like, between, like, C2 and C3, look at that, how big of a gap that was. It wasn't a subtle change between the C2 and the C3. So,
that's right.
Chevrolet being Chevrolet, I wonder if they're going to keep on doing crazy stuff like that. I hope they don't go, like, woke and then kind of slow down and, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
I hope they just keep on chugging right along. And yellow was one of those colors that, in the Corvette world, it actually does hold a lot of weight. Because look at the Pratt and Miller C5R, the C6R, the C7R. You know, yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, and it's a convertible too. That's one of. Convertibles are one of those things that, like, people are either vehemently against or really love. And the silhouette of the Corvette's already beautiful, but then when it has that kind of peakiness, but it's almost slightly, it's proportionally, I absolutely love it. If I ever get enough money, and this is, I think, no, it's a 17. 18 was the first year of the Black Rose Metallic. If you ever get one of those in convertible, like, I'll sell my soul for that. Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, so it's an LT4. How many? Yep. I can't tell you how many of these engines I've been around that made well over 1,000 horsepower.
Wow.
Yeah, these are crazy cars. Do you know that even with the top down being a convertible, it's still a very rotationally rigid frame. The rotational force that's needed to get that thing to move around is pretty incredible. Most cars, the roof is a stressed member, and typically when you take that stressed member off, it's much easier for it to twist. But with
Right,
the convertibles
exactly.
I've driven, yes, you're going to notice a difference between a hard top and a convertible. But that's like when you're driving, you'll probably start noticing it around 7 to 8 tenths of really driving the car. You'll notice it. But almost everywhere else. Plus, it's nice to have wind in your hair, or in this case, beard, you know.
Exactly.
And the aftermarket for the LT is absolutely absurd. I mean, look what it made from the factory, and you could do simple bolt-ons. I mean, crank pulley, snout pulley, cooler, full exhaust, and a tune. I mean, you could be, depending upon how aggressive you want to be on tuning, mid 600s to upper 600s tire.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's dumb.
I totally
And
agree.
it's violent because it's got a positive displacement supercharger on it. Even though it's a small block, because it's got positive displacement on it, it acts like the power band of a big block. And
Right,
and it's got nannies on it, so like you could let your grandmother drive it and you'd be perfectly fine. Just tell her, hey, grandma, do not press that button and hold it for X amount of seconds and then take the traction control off and have fun. And you can drive this car every day. Absolutely every day. You can beat the living piss out of it. I love it.
It's a beautiful. It's a one-owner car, 5,379 miles. I mean, somebody absolutely just loves this car, baby the heck out of it, because they really, for a car going on 6 years old, they hardly ever drove it. So this was probably taken out of the garage, on a Sunday once a month.
Yeah.
It was nice out.
This was the good weather and or taking it to church or taking it to grocery car, and that was it.
Exactly. So yeah, this actually came from a collector. Actually, and I think he has 5 or 6 different, all nice high performance type vets that he collected. So hopefully we'll get a chance to showcase several of these on 427Stingray.com. I'm excited about it. So this is a car I haven't had a chance to drive. I did drive the 73 that we just discussed, and I had an absolute ball driving that car. So I'm anxious to get in this and see what this feels like to drive.
How to describe? So, for the gun people out there, driving a old Corvette is like driving a bolt-action rifle. It's going to have this very mechanical feel to everything. You can feel, all right, it's loose, it's sticky. All right, I need to put a little more effort, a little less. It does like this, it doesn't like that. Where newer stuff is just rack it back to ta-ta-ta-ta-ta and don't have to worry about anything else. And it just does all the work for you. You know, you don't know if the bolt is sticking. Is the fire pin acting weird? No, you just don't. All it does is you point and you go click, and that's it. The older stuff, it would talk to you. And that's the appeal of it, too. Is it going to be as fast as the new stuff? Absolutely not. But it's so involving. When people said that when you drove a car and you felt your soul integrating with that other mechanical soul, I don't understand. I understand a lot of people will never understand that, and God bless their souls for not doing that. I literally do feel sorry for them. But for people like us, maybe I'm just a freak, but I literally can feel when a car is talking to me. And when it just feels, when it feels right, you feel it here. And when the logic fires and the heart fires in one, and you got something, that's something special. And I feel sorry for the people who will never understand that, because that's a piece of joy that you could be having, but you decide to go drive a Prius and live a normal life. And I'm sorry, that sucks. I mean, boy, the deathbed. When you're on your deathbed, I wish I did this, and I wish I bought the Vet, and I wish I had the convertible, and I wish I did. Well, you brought that on yourself. Sorry, it's just what it is. Buy the Vet. It's the long short of it. Just buy the damn Vet, for Christ's sake.
I got to tell you, when I was thinking about this podcast and stuff, I never dreamed the word Prius would come up in the podcast. So thank you
They
so
brought it
much
on
for
themselves. There's got to be, in almost every form of life, there has to be a scapegoat. Well, Prius, you're the scapegoat, and you're not letting it go, and you're not going anywhere, and you brought it upon yourself. And we feel much better about ragging on you. It's literally like, you ever heard of the website called The People of Walmart?
Yes.
It's the car version of that. We're not gonna have any mercy. No. Mercy's for the weak. No. We're tearing your ass apart. But we all need a scapegoat, and that's what it is. It looks like a freaking clown shoe. And yeah, I could, that's a whole thing. I can talk about the whole EV thing. I can talk about the whole, the psychology behind the Prius. Boy, I could tick off a lot. Well, I could tick off a lot of people, and then I can also open up the eyes of a lot of people, because majority of the people that, remember, they buy Priuses, they only buy on seeing one side of the story. Oh, it's helping.
Right.
How much energy did I have to disperse in order to make this? No, don't look at it. No, look at, oh, nice little Prius. Oh, look at this. We're saving the earth. Okay. See how they always redirect?
Yes.
Man, just putting that out there for the people that are about to buy a Prius. Just putting it out there.
I think you've come up with a great idea for clickbait for us, the Prius versus the Corvette. Yeah.
You know,
It'll get a
you know, it was Top Gear that did this, and it was brilliant. And this is when the BMW M3 had a V8 in it. Great car, by the way.
Yeah.
And they had a Prius. I don't remember if it was a first gen or second gen. It doesn't matter. And because, Top Gear has their own, if you want to call it a racetrack, it's literally just an airport. And they wanted to, because at the time when the Prius was out, great gas mileage. And they're like, okay, it depends, So they told a guy in a Prius, flat out everywhere you go, because you can flat out a Prius on one of those, because it's not going to get enough speed to where it's going to push through the corner, as long as you don't go, hit the corner real tight and then just yank it. So they gave the Prius a full tank of gas, I think it was, and then they had this BMW right behind it the entire time. And they wanted to see which one would run out of gas first. So you can imagine the BMW is just blip, just to stay behind it. Because it doesn't have to disperse any energy to stay behind a Prius. Right. It's all about energy. And if I'm not having to disperse energy or little spurts of it, I got big engine. Spurt. Where your little engine is going, it just sits here. Well, when the Prius ran out of gas, and it did, the BMW, I think, had either a quarter or an eighth of a tank left in a V8.
Sure. You bet.
So, take that as you will. And if you don't believe me, God invented YouTube for a reason. Go check it out. If you don't, for all the naysayers, they did it. They proved it. Go check it out. If you don't, call me a liar and go check it out. So, I could talk about that stuff all day long and just totally disprove that stuff. But
exactly.
Now, if we did,
sounds great, man.
Could we ever do an electric Corvette? I actually honestly think that, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, that's sacrilege. The split window was sacrilege. Dunthoff hated it. So you can kind of take your whole sacrilege thing and shove it out the window. Because look at stuff like the Rimax. Look at the Koenigsegg Regera is a hybrid. But we've seen what electric can do, and it's only going to keep on going up. Now, if you had like